Hello, this is the Green Corn Rebellion Show. I'm Gregory Harden II, and today I am here with my friend, State Representative Jacob Rosecrants, who represents District 46 in the Oklahoma House of Representatives, which is like the Norman and Noble area, right?
Not
Or
anymore.
just
Just Norman
Norman?
now. Yeah, because we had redistricting, so it changed.
Okay. Whoa, 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 whoa. Stop what you're doing. Okay. If you like this video and you like the other content on my channel, please hit the like button on this video. Also, go hit subscribe like right now. And also, when you hit subscribe, click the bell so you can get notifications whenever I put out a new video. So, thanks. All right, enjoy the rest of the video. I hadn't really looked at those districts that much, just the ones around me. So, yeah.
Not a lot changed, but mine changed a lot. So yeah, and
Yeah.
it changed probably for the better. We'll see. Yeah.
But yeah, so let's see. Could you tell me about what, let's see, how you're feeling about the current state of public education here in the state of Oklahoma?
Well, that's a loaded question, Gregory. that's a loaded one. Well, here's the thing: we're basically in an existential battle right now. I mean, I know that sounds doomism or whatever you want to call it, but take a look at the bills that have been filed for this election session. I mean, that's what it is. And this is the session that has to do right before an election. And so we knew it was going to be kind of maybe, a lot of different bills that, because what happens here, many of these aren't going to go anywhere, but they can go back to their districts and say, hey, I filed this, parent empowerment bill, whatever else, blah, blah, blah. And the problem is this particular composition of the House and the Senate has proven that they will pass some pretty questionable bills, maybe even unconstitutional and definitely anti-public education. So right now, I'm just preparing, man. I've got one major bill that I'm really pushing. I filed three, but I've got one major one that I'm pushing, which is the Active Oklahoma Kids Act, which my absolute passion. This is something I wanted to run back in 2017, but just wanted to wait to, get the pieces put together. But beyond that, I'm going to be able to, work really hard to kill the bad stuff and push the good stuff. That's my whole point behind this session, is to, be a Swiss Army knife, if you will, to be able to go where I'm needed and be able to do what I can to stop some of the bad stuff, because there's a lot. I went through some of the bills. There's over very close to 3,000. Many are education bills, and many of them are very, very bad bills for our schools. So hands are full. If I look tired, it's because I've been looking through those bills and my eyeballs basically burned out of my head on some of the bills. I was like, how could you even think this was a thing that you ever would want to file?
Yeah.
So that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, I've seen some people, what is this? People tweet about some of these bills being authored, especially one particular one by a certain state senator that I have.
Yeah, that's your state senator, buddy.
Yeah,
That's yours.
Yeah, he
used to be Ron Sharp. Very, very,
yeah,
very, very.
Yeah, that's
not a good trade-off.
Yeah, that's the most disappointing downgrade I've had, like, the ability to witness a long time. Like, oof. Okay.
Man, I worked well with Ron while we were up there together in 2018, and then in 2017 and 18. Was looking forward to him being like kind of like my public education teammate on the other side of the aisle. So when he lost, I was just like, oh, okay, well, I'll just talk to Shane. He'll be cool. That's no Ron Sharp.
Yeah, he's because
he's a nice enough dude. There's nobody that's really mean at the Capitol except for maybe Sean Roberts or somebody, but everybody else is kind of nice. And the dude's nice, but then you look at his laws or his bills and you're just like,
or his tweets.
What are you doing? The tweet, I'm just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But, hey.
Yeah. But
So yeah, so it's
hopefully,
going to be one of those deals where we're going to be on the defense quite a bit.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully, Ron Sharp will be back before long. He still has a whole 4 years to finish out, and
He
Shane
does. I
Shane
haven't
Jack
talked to
only
him
has
about that kind of
6
thing.
years to finish out, so it's
Yeah.
yeah,
I think Ron is interested in doing something else. He's staying pretty active on, social media and stuff, and
yeah,
um, reaches out on the education groups and makes sure that his voice is still heard. He's always been uber pro public education, even though I don't agree with him on every policy, but with
yeah,
education we have. So yeah.
yeah. Episodes of the Green Corn Rebellion Show are sponsored by Oklahoma Progress Now. Oklahoma Progress Now is a 501c4 organization focused on building progressive power in Oklahoma. Their primary efforts are on developing progressive content for a 21st century audience, coalition, and capacity building across progressive organizations and causes, and working to see elected leaders who are more responsive to their constituents and the needs of the many. Areas of focus include progressive messaging and communications, coalition building and resource sharing, and focused progressive policy goals. You can check out their Twitch live streams, and they go live on Facebook on at noon, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Please support this organization. It's a really great organization. It's just getting started here in Oklahoma. Thank you. Now enjoy the rest of the video. So tell me about the bills that you are proposing.
Yeah, I kind of mentioned it already. House Bill 3047 is going to be known as the Active Oklahoma Kids Act, or AOK Act. Look, when you're up here after a while, you start realizing that you can kind of brand things, make things easier for people to say. At first, I didn't even understand that. I would just like, file a bunch of bills and be like, oh, that's House Bill, blah, blah. After a while, when you find a real kind of focus, you can start adding cool names to it. And I actually, this was a bill that I've been wanting to run probably, like I said, since 2017. I was talking to Ivy Riggs of OEA the other day, and I was like, you know what? I talked to you right when I got elected on the steps of the Capitol, and you asked me what I really wanted to do, and I told you I wanted to run a bill to lengthen and protect recess at schools. And she was like, you sure did. And look at you, you're running a bill to do it. It only took 17, 18, 19, 20, 20 years, but I didn't really have, I think, I'm not going to say cachet. I'm just going to say the support to do something like that. And after the Play to Learn Act last year passed, which honestly never was meant to be a bill that was ever supposed to pass, it just grew into something that did. Bipartisan. So many Republicans jumped on board with me and made it stronger even. So, hey, we're all about that when it comes to having play warriors on both sides of the aisle. So this bill, House Bill 3047, what it does, other states have tried this too, and some have passed. Illinois, Arkansas, Arizona have bills similar to this. What mine does, it amends the statute we already have to require recess. We did not have a recess requirement. It was always just a strong recommendation. Well, I'm changing that to a requirement. And then all day pre-K to 8th grade, 40 minutes of recess. Now, a lot of schools already kind of creep up there already. There's some that do 30 minutes. I believe some in my district do. So it's not, hopefully it won't be like this total like, what are we going to do with our day? But I already have had some people reach out, from districts that were like, hey, this is going to be kind of tough to balance out. Well, that's why I went ahead and made recess in my bill instructional time as well, meaning this is an important part of the day, not just an extra part of the day. You've got to make time for it. And so that's kind of what I'm doing right there. Also, I put a part in there that does seem to get a little bit of, I wouldn't say negative feedback, but just some teachers have reached out to say, hey, what are we doing with this? And that is to where I say you cannot take recess away from punishment anymore. Now, I didn't want to over legislate things. I really didn't. I don't like to say you can't do or you should do. But on that one, as I was, the lead up to this, I was like, should I? I talked to, by this point, thousands of teachers and thousands of parents about this idea as I've been having it, in my head. and looking at other states that have done things. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and put it in there. And I believe in it. I don't think that you should take recess away for punishment. Now, I did add in there, unless, it's danger to the student or the other students, obviously.
Yeah.
But I want us to start looking for better ways to do things, because the kids that are losing recess are the kids that need recess the most. And they're the ones that I've had in my own school, my own classrooms, that probably, I think, and the studies show and experts know, that when they get back to the school, back in the classroom, they're going to be able to concentrate better, not be so, all up in everywhere. I just will invite anybody to go watch a recess and see these kids just go out and be kids. I'm talking middle school. And what if you didn't let them do that? All that pent up energy. So
Yeah.
that's where the drive for the bill came from. And those are the major parts of it. There's little pieces here or there, that I've kind of changed with the amendment, but I mean with the amendment of the statute. But for the most part, that's pretty much it. It's got a lot of support. I just had 2 of my Republican colleagues sign on to it. So now it's, believe it or not, if you look it up, it's a Republican bill because 2 Republicans, 1 Democrat, me. So that's kind of cool. You never can tell how that works. But during the lead up to the Play to Learn Act last year, passing an enactment of that, we had a massive Play Warrior group at the Capitol. And I imagine, I don't see why they wouldn't be behind this too. You see what I'm saying? I know it's a mandate. I know it's a heavy lift. I know the 8th grade part is not everybody's favorite. Everybody agrees about elementary, but the 8th grade part is the kind of revolutionary thing I'm trying to push for. But as a middle school teacher, I believe it's important. So yeah, that's where we're at with that. My other bills, I have something called the Empowering Parents Over Testing Act. If you know me, you do. I do not believe that our state tests are really anything good for parents or teachers or even children. The ones I'm talking about here, the mandated ones, they're not even graded. They're not graded. They're not part of anything, just to try to get data for the what I think is a very outdated A to F system, school grading system. So we've got lots of problems there. But basically, what this bill does, parents can already opt their kids out of those tests. It's already protected in the 2001 Parents' Bill of Rights. My bill basically just protects any teacher or counselor or school person who urges or even mentions opt-outs, because right now some of them are telling me that if they do that, they get in trouble. They have to do it all like underground. They're like, you can opt your kid out. Ooh, because parents do not like the test, straight up. That's why I call it the Empowering Parents Act. And so that's kind of where that's at right now. It doesn't do anything revolutionary because you can already do that, but I'm trying to protect the people that are trying to opt their kids out. It's parents too. It protects the parents and it protects the kids if they do choose to opt out. It says that there can be no, adverse consequences or anything to the kids. Not that that always happened, but I'm just trying to make sure people know that that's a priority for me. My other one is really kind of a neat idea. It's House Bill 3001. It was a conversation piece. I'm not sure that it's going to pass, and that's okay with me because I just want to start the conversation. It's called the Community Schools Act, and I'm a big believer in the community schools model. I want you to think of Union Public Schools, and some of them up there in Tulsa. They do an amazing job. I'm still learning a lot about it, which is another reason why I just ran this bill, so we could have conversations. I've already had many people reach out to me and ask me about this, and I think it's the education model of the future, 100%. Because basically what you have is, what a community school is basically you're talking to the community and you're like, let's get some investments here with the local businesses, whatever it is. And you have like a community school coordinator, in the best possible, hopefully you would. And then they just kind of build up on the school site itself. It's really awesome. I haven't seen it in action, but I am touring, or I'm going to plan. I'm busy. I'm trying to get to Tulsa so I can see that school. But that's pretty much everything. And I just found out today that it seems like that's catching on the other side of the aisle too. So that's awesome, because if I can find somebody who's already doing that on the other side of the aisle, well, I'll just jump on. I have no problem with that. As long as I can trust them. That's it. I got 3 bills this year. Reason why I didn't do, the max or whatever, is because, again, I think that I will be better used to hopefully kill the bad stuff
Yeah.
and pull the really, cheer for the good stuff. That's what I'm after this year. That's it.
Yeah. Hmm. That's good.
I know my bills like the back of my hand. When you do fewer bills, you get to know
Mhm.
your bills better. That's another thing too.
Yeah. Yeah, the recess thing is really good because whenever I was in middle school, we only had 15 minutes, I think, of recess. And because what was
Like
it
after
was
lunch, they squeeze it
yes,
in.
because like yeah, because what they did was they kind of made it like lunch and recess were like all together. So I think it was like 45 minutes altogether,
But
something
the
like
whole
that.
thing, like the whole
Yeah,
thing, like slam down
yeah,
your lunch and then go run it off. Not
exactly.
nearly enough time to run off your energy. Absolutely. That's why
Yeah,
I'm so adamant about the middle school piece, because exactly what you just said, but it is a heavy lift. I'm telling you. Administrators like, how are we going to balance this out? I'm like, well, look, if my school down here in Norman, Whittier or Alcott can do it for 30 minutes, so that's great, right?
mhm,
Again, if this passes, they'll have to add 10 more minutes. They can do that, I promise you. Um, but I know it squashes the day. I understand that in middle school. But I'm gonna fight for it. Again, if I have to take it out for it to pass, sure, I'll do that, but I will look to try to add it back in if I have
yeah,
to. Again, I have that middle school teacher attitude. I know kids need to get outside. I took my kids outside when I realized we only had 15-minute recess whenever I could. Just outdoor classroom. It didn't matter. We had the little laptops, so they, as long as we were sitting enough close to the school building, you can actually have class outside, and it was great. So
yeah,
just total passion, absolute passion for me on that one. I'm glad you like the bill though. It does have some
yeah,
support. It actually does have some support. So
yeah.
hoping for the best.
Let's see. And what was the second one you said you had?
House Bill 2985 is the
Mhm.
Empowering Parents Over Testing Act. Once again,
Yeah.
really,
I didn't
really
even
cool name.
know. Yeah, I didn't even know that opting out of testing was a thing.
Exactly. Why do you think I'm running the bill? If it doesn't pass, which there'll be some major parent groups, I think will be for this. I have been reached out to by some education groups, but I know that the State Department of Education is not going to like this one, even though they can already opt out. But I don't care. I'm running it so we can have these conversations and let more people know that absolutely you can do this. Plus, on my bill too, nothing prevents a school from still pushing them, because they try to get that 95% or whatever. I'm
Mhm.
not trying to say you can't do that. I'm just saying, hey, if parents want to opt out, let them opt out. Don't try any fear tactics or anything like that. So,
Yeah, because
absolutely.
like
Yeah.
because I was under the impression this whole time that we had to do those or else we'd get held back or something
Nope.
like that. That's
Nope.
wild. I had no
Yep.
idea. I didn't
No
know that.
grades, no holdback. All it is data. Now it's data that's important since the ADAP scale is based on that. Not all the way,
Yeah.
but pieces of it are.
Mhm.
And that's all it is. And that's why many parents don't like them. Especially this is crazy. I have weird bedfellows. I'm Democrat, right? Pretty
Mhm.
progressive, and I've got the farthest right folks reaching out to me, being like, "What is this, Rosecrants?" I'm like, "Oh, you're gonna like this," because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter far right, far left. Doesn't matter. Parents don't like these ding dang tests because of the
Yeah.
stress that it causes them for nothing. My kids' scores, the ones that were mandated, and they went ahead and took them last year because I usually opt my own kids out, but at this time I was just like, just take them. It doesn't matter. Um, their scores didn't come in till mid this year from
Mhm.
last year. You want
Yeah.
to tell me how that's going to help my kid learn better or the teacher
Right.
teach better? None of it's going to happen. I'm very, very passionate about that too. So
Yeah.
this bill was a passion piece as well, but mostly just to have these conversations about it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Mm-hmm.
remember that. Not saying I'm gonna be
What?
telling people, but no, I'm kidding. I probably will. But no,
No,
that's
no. I mean,
yeah,
so you're
because
a
that's
teacher. You're a
yeah,
teacher.
yeah. Substitute,
So
but
this
yeah,
bill would protect you. If you,
yeah,
that's okay. But
yeah.
I'm saying if this passed, you would be protected to say that. Right now, I got in trouble myself when I realized as a first year teacher that these tests were a thing. And I was
Hmm.
like, so they're not graded. Why am I? I didn't really know the system. Why am I forcing these kids to do this? Why am I making it sound like it's the most important thing of their lives?
Yeah.
And they were like, what is that? So I had to learn once I really peeled the onion back, and I was like, well, big testing companies, okay, I get that. Corporate reform, education type stuff, I get that too. But what the rest of it, I don't know. So if it passes and you become a teacher, you can speak about it. I mean, I wouldn't be dumb about it, just like,
Yeah.
don't ever take the test. But if a parent comes to you and says, hey, I
Yeah.
want to opt my kid out, you're like, well, let me show you how. And it
Yeah.
really is very simple too. It really is just a letter to the principal, maybe even the superintendent, saying, I wish to opt my child out of this test. And that is a protected thing. They're going to fight it. They're absolutely going to fight it, say that it could hurt the school, so on and so forth. But again, if I can't stop the mandates, because they are mandates from the federal government, then I figured let's empower the parents. It's literally called that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. And that fits in with the tone of how people are feeling lately with education.
Well, dude, we get rid of the tests, watch teachers come back, watch parents maybe even bring their kids back to schools, because they're not just testing factories, whatever. I'm talking the ones that either went to private schools or homeschooled. Some of the reasons are religion. I understand that. Some of the other reasons, talk to them. Talk to parents. They'll tell you straight up, my kid doesn't like school because my kid sits there and studies for or prepares, does test prep, and my kid's a second grader. And I'm like, what? I mean, I can't blame you. We can fix this. We can fix this together. So I'm trying to build a coalition once again, but there's going to be lots of pushback because that's the system that everybody's used to, and you know how that works.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah. So how are you feeling about the issues with the substitute teacher shortage and whatnot during the pandemic?
Okay, so there's always been a substitute teacher shortage. I mean, that's just been the way it's been. I was a full-time sub for a full year before I became a teacher. I really loved it, by the way, because the system's cool. You can pick what you want. So I started, I had another job. I was a waiter, and then I had, I would just pick the social studies jobs, like in a 50-mile radius, because I did like Oklahoma City Public, Norman, and I think, I don't think I did more. I can't remember. It was Oklahoma City and Norman, mostly Norman. And so then I just did what I wanted to do, because I knew I wanted to teach history and I wanted to get in good. And once you get in good to a school, then you become like a full-time sub there and they love you and everything else. I was trying to find a job. It didn't work out that way, but I tried. That's back before all the teachers were leaving. You know what I'm saying? It was tough to find a teaching job back then. Now it's almost non-existent. Who wants to do it? Like who would want to put their lives on the line, basically, because once we passed that dumb bill that took away the local control of being able to do a mask mandate, if the district wanted to do it. See, that's the thing. It's local control. What were we thinking? Now, I definitely voted against it, but it easily passed. I don't get that, because a conservative mindset that I remember is let's leave everything to the locals and let's not have this overreach. But that was a bill of overreach, and now these districts are held to the point where they can't even get anybody in to sub for these teachers that are out sick, because Omicron is definitely making people sick. You can turn your back to it all you want, and it is what it is. The numbers are pretty high, and that's the thing. So what I don't have respect for is what the governor chose to do about this. I get the idea. I get the thinking, but if you're going to have a plan like this, you have to flesh it out. And this seems like, and I said this before, and I can say it right now, I don't like to just totally just throw him under the bus, but it seems like him and his friends like had a sleepover, and they were like, what are we going to do about this? And they just decided, they were like, hey, let's just go ahead and try this thing. We'll just tell the state employees to go work, and it'll be great. It'll be great. Well, what do we do? How are we going to sign them up? Just get the guy to do that website. It'll be great. It'll be great. They'll sign up. Well, wait. Well, the subs, and then they just stopped there. They didn't even ask questions. So what's happened here is that if you talk to any district, superintendents, they'll be like, well, first of all, nobody hardly showed up. Second of all, the people that signed up on your deal, every district does subs a little bit differently. You see what I'm saying? Like in Norman, let me tell you, I was going to go help. I'm so very busy, but I was going to clear out one day to help out, to sub. Now, I thought it was as simple as just going in there and being like, I want to sub. I'm a state employee. Why can't I just sub?
Yeah.
That's not the way it works. You have to take a background check. You have to do, you have to sign up for a volunteer, and then the school puts you wherever they want, or the district will put you wherever they want you to. That's Norman. And
Yeah.
if you want to be a real sub, like paid, it's through Kelly Services or something. It's a
Yeah.
third party deal. So, and a lot of districts use Kelly. So
Yeah.
that already throws everything off. So what a mess. Now, did it solve the problems?
Nope.
I'm going to say absolutely not. So
No.
idea, I think, was good in a way because they need help. Teachers desperately do, but bad because, first of all, subs, I'm a little flabbergasted by the thought that this was going to be something that was going to be like the most amazing idea ever. But, it is what it is. And so I guess we'll just move on. And it's not helpful. I guarantee you that. It's throwing a lot of just questions and people not knowing what to do. And I guess they're trying to tout that it's working and it's really not. So I don't know.
Nope.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely not working, because if the subs have to usually most of the time nowadays, whenever I sub, I have the plan period of the teacher that I'm subbing for, but if they don't have a sub for another class during that plan hour, they'll have me sub for that teacher for my plan, so I don't get a plan. I'll get lunch, but I won't get a plan. And
Yeah.
it's
No.
yeah, it's, or they'll have another teacher cover another teacher's class during their plan hour because they don't have enough subs, and it's like
Well, it's a
whole
mess. You know
problem.
what could
Yeah,
be done is that you could just go to virtual for a little while, not long, just
exactly.
as
Yeah,
long as everybody gets healthy and back to where they need to be. And talk to parents. They're okay with that. Like now, not some of them, it is what it is.
yeah,
And that's respect. I understand the point of view, that's you believe that in-person school is the most important thing. I completely agree with you. However, you got to take in, to account that this is ignore it all you want, but we are in the middle of a pandemic still that has now, 3 different variants or however many, and here we are with another one, and now everybody's getting sick that hadn't gotten sick before. I mean, it's just, listen, you got to do what you got to do to protect the safety of the kids and the people that teach the kids. That's it.
yeah,
And so if you got to close down for a little bit, you should have that right. But everybody's freaking out about that, I guess, still. So oh gosh, it's become political too, Gregory, and we can't have politics in these types of things because then
I
you have
know.
everybody in silos. Then you have everybody on one side and everybody on the other side, and then common sense goes out the door, and that's been very, very frustrating as well. So
Yeah, and it's just wild.
it is wild, isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
I mean, I went to go help my neighborhood school out here on Friday, and Fridays are the day they need subs the most. And it was great. I mean, of course, I'm a former teacher, so I had a great time with them all. But I was just like, "Are y'all doing okay?" I asked all the teachers, and they they're stressing. You're gonna have stress level way high right now, and I just wish that everybody could work together, especially within the community, and stop blaming. I'm really tired of some of the blame, like, oh, our teachers are lazy and they don't want to go to work, and that's why they want to go virtual. I don't know any teacher who likes virtual, but I
yeah,
do understand that it is a way to still teach kids, may not be the best way, and still be safe. So
yeah,
it's
because it's
wild.
not.
That's a
Yeah,
good way to say it.
because it's not fun for teachers when they have to come to school every day and a third or half of their classes are gone because they're sick
Right.
or quarantined.
Right.
And because that's kind of how it is nowadays. Whenever I sub, it's like third or half of my class is gone. It's like, oh, they're just sick, okay, or they're quarantining, or their parent is sick and they don't want to get other people. It's that's
It's
not fun
it's
for the
something else.
teachers, and that makes it harder for the teachers to be able to keep doing what they need to be doing and keep
Yep.
on their
And
own
another
schedule.
piece
Yeah,
of frustration is that, the state's going to push for state tests still. Again, I
yeah,
told you they don't matter really in the long run. So just, I mean, I'm even telling some kids just to be like, just see. because they don't matter. They don't
Yeah.
matter. It's not anything to do with your graduation, none of it. But that there's a push. There's a push. There's some parents around here that are like, why in the world would we do state testing right now? If everybody's been yo-yoing back and forth from this pandemic, what would be what would be good? But that's where like you have the kind of the business folks, I guess you could say, or the business folks are fine, but when you just see it as a businessman and can't see really anything else,
Yeah.
well, you say things like, well, we need to have the test so we can see where the you'll start hearing jargon like the I don't even know the jargon because I don't think that way, but like baseline and got to know
Hmm.
what this is and all this. The baseline is kids are freaking all over the place right now.
Yeah.
They need mental health supports more than any kind of boot camp for academics right now, and that will lead to better academics. That's been my message for I don't know how long, and I, still pushing that. I can't really legislate those types of things, but I can definitely, use my bully pulpit, if you will, to get that message out there. And I've been having I've had many meetings with the Department of Education because they love their tests, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Can you just, maybe not always go against them?" I was like, "I hate them. I hate them." It's like, as a teacher, I hated them. As a parent, I hate them. As a representative, I hate them.
Yeah.
I won't blame you guys. It's a system thing, but it's like I'd like to see the end of it. So go and ask for a waiver and let's end this thing at least during the pandemic and show that schools are going to be fine without these ding dang tests that take over everything.
Yeah. But yeah, let's see. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about or mention?
Just can't wait to kill some of these nasty bills. I mean, come on, you have a bill that's gonna from your senator that's gonna supposed to outlaw things like determination.
Yeah.
like what are you doing? Like what was that? That's coaching too. I mean, I think that thing's gonna die a quick death, but it is my number one. It's Senate Bill 1442. My number one goal to kill, and I will use all my skills to make sure it dies. No offense to Shane, but I just think that he could probably spend some time on something a little more important, maybe a couple of his other bills or something. I don't know. I just that thing needs to die. And so I'm looking forward to killing some bills, or at least giving it my best shot.
All right.
That's it. I'm a defender this year. You can call me the public schools defender because that's what I'm trying to do. And I've been that for a while, but this year, like I said, I've never seen so many bills that are just like there's even a huge voucher bill. Like we have been
Yeah, I
told
heard about that. Yeah.
that no vouchers will happen. Yeah, I know. Senate Bill 1647. That's one of them. There's a bunch of voucher bills, which is showing me that that's kind of one of those things where they're going to lean into, maybe even make it a priority. Which, if you do that, then those become the bills that towards the end of the session where they use them like they're not going to pass fast. It's not going to.
Yeah.
You're not going to see that, but you're going to see maybe slip them into a shell bill to where there's not so many eyeballs on it or something like that, and then or slip in like a sentence that makes it a voucher into the budget bill. Who knows, But I think it's going to be a priority. But yeah, Senate Bill 1647 is universal vouchers. That's a universal no. So I'm going to make sure and do my best to try to derail that. But that's tough. That's a leadership bill. So
Yeah.
Senate leadership, they're powerful, and I respect the heck out of him. But come on, you can't run a voucher. It's poorly written too. So the rest of I'm not the guy that's gonna break down all the clauses and everything. I'll read the bill, I'll check to see what's going on, but I do have colleagues that do that. Andy Fugate, some of my other friends up there that actually do break that down. So I'm just railing against the fact that it's a voucher bill. They're breaking it down as this is so poorly written. So there's going to be different angles that we can go. Plus, I have hope that even across the aisle in the House, that there's really not a hunger to pass a voucher bill. However, if it becomes a very, very big bill that's like a kind of a bargaining chip, who knows? Who knows? So eyes open for that too. I'm ready. If Oklahoma, if these representatives in the rural areas vote yes on vouchers, I don't know what they're doing. They're harming their own public schools,
Yeah.
bad. So,
Really
I
bad.
know. That's what I don't get. They're listening to their base, which hey, I get it, but at a certain point, if you really truly believe in your schools, which are the lifeblood of many of their towns and little cities out there, you can't go and do both. You've got to pick
Yeah.
a side on this one. And, I think that given truth serum, they would always choose their public schools, which are the lifeblood of their towns. Let's see if those votes match up to that.
Yeah.
I'll be keeping an eye on them.
Both eyes or just one of the eyes?
Both.
Well, thank
Definitely.
you. Thank you for
Yeah,
coming
man.
on.
I'm glad you're subbing. Glad you're out there doing this, the good stuff. Thank you for doing that. I mean, now it's become like a position of absolute need.
Yeah.
You're probably busy every day. So
Yeah, because I've been subbing for 2 years, like since late 2019, November 2019, and the pandemic started. And then, after, August 2020, I've pretty much been in a classroom almost every other day. So
yeah.
yeah.
Well, you're getting experience no matter how you break it down. So
Yeah.